Today, I'm going to be talking to you about balancing your rap lyrics. And make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I have a very special time-sensitive announcement to make to you. So what do I mean by balancing your rap lyrics? What I mean is this, is when it comes to rapping, when you hear someone rapping, you hear their lyrics and you may perceive it as just lyrics. But there's actually multiple things that are being juggled at one time in order for things to come out sounding as good as they do. And it's very important as rappers that we keep these things in balance when we're writing our own raps so things don't fall apart. So a few of the very common things that you're balancing is this. One is you have your rap flow, right? You have different rap cadences that you're using. Who be the cap? Who be the rap? How about the who be the rap? You got a certain type of cadence musical pattern that you're going after. That's the musical side of rapping, right? Rap is R-A-P, rhythm and poetry. That's the musical side. But on the written side, you also have multiple things you're juggling there as well. You obviously have rhyme schemes, and us rappers, we love to rhyme a lot, okay? You have rhyme schemes, but then you also have other literary devices, things that you're playing around with, like punchlines and metaphors and similes and things of that nature. So there's a lot of things that you're actually juggling and playing around with. But ask yourself this, what's the most important thing? Think of it like you got all these things working in your rap. So what's the most important? If there's a hierarchy, what sits at the top? And in my opinion, typically the thing that's sitting at the very, very top is what you're actually saying, is actually the lyrics. Because all these other things, the cadences, the rhyme schemes, the wordplay, all these things are meant to enhance your message. And so it's important to not let the enhancements take away from your message. And that certainly can happen, and it happens a lot. One of those common ways that happens is people who chase a rhyme scheme too much or too long. And there's been plenty of times where I'll ask one of my students, okay, I hear what you're saying here, but what do you mean right here on this line right here? And they say, I ain't gonna lie, Cole, I was just rhyming. I thought it sounded good. Okay, well, that's something that we may have to tweak or change because we don't want to lose the meaning of the message typically. Because most of the time, the lyrics is the star. Unless it's like a song, it's more about a vibe or something. It's not really as lyrical. In those rare occasions, maybe this is not as big of a deal. But I'll give you another example. Let's say you're rapping really fast. And it's very impressive. I mean, what you're doing, like you're on some Eminem, Rap God, Godzilla type stuff. What you're saying is super duper fast. It's really impressive. But let me ask you this. How are those lyrics hitting? Because typically when you rap really, really fast, the lyrics don't typically hit as hard as someone who was rapping a little bit slower and they're emphasizing the words a lot more. And you can understand it the first time you hear it. Typically, those lyrics will have more impact. So again, you got to ask yourself, what's the top priority? If it is the lyrics, then you may want to be mindful of how fast you're rapping and maybe blending rapping fast with also keeping some longer stuff, some longer held notes there. Still put some pauses in there so people can process all the stuff you just said so your message doesn't get lost with all the razzle dazzle you got going on. And I'll tell you another reason that I've found this to be an issue with a lot of rappers is rapping can be kind of competitive. And we really want to showcase our skills to our fellow rappers. Let them know we're coming with it. We ain't playing no games. Like, we are skilled, okay? And there's a time and place for that. But there's also a time and place to pull back and not use every tool, every technique that you have, okay? These techniques are kind of like spices. And you don't have to use every single spice on the chicken breast. Sometimes you just need a little bit of salt and maybe a little bit of pepper. So a part about building your skills up, a part of that is also learning to use restraint and not just want to throw every single thing at every single verse that you write. Knowing how to pull back in certain aspects. Maybe pull back a little bit on the rhymes sometimes. Maybe pull back a little bit on the cadences sometimes and let those lyrics really come through and make sure that nothing is overpowering them or taken away from them in any kind of way. I think of it like this, like heavyweight boxers, okay? They have the power to knock you out with one punch and they know it. They know all they have to do is land one time, boom, you're going to sleep. But in that first round, if they expend too much energy, if they dump everything they have at you and they don't knock you out, they're going to be struggling to fight for the rest of that match. They're going to be gassed out. So they have to learn how to pull back, knowing I could knock you out, but I got to be smart about it. Okay. So just because you have all these tools and all these techniques at your disposal doesn't mean you have to use them all the time. And remember, these tools and techniques are enhancements. They're used to make your lyrics pop more, to make them sound more catchy to the listener. So don't lose the meaning of your lyrics in the process of trying to create those enhancements and make them sound more catchy. And speaking of writing lyrics, if you feel like your rap lyrics at times sounds random and lacks direction, and you find it difficult to stay on topic, or you struggle with completing full thoughts, then I have some great news for you. Next Thursday, January the 13th, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be hosting a private group coaching session for an hour and 30 minutes, and it's going to be focused on writing cohesive rap lyrics that will keep your listeners hooked from beginning to end. And some of the things that we're going to be talking about is how to stay on topic, how to keep things interesting, and how to link your ideas together. And I'll be dedicating at least 30 minutes of this session for a live Q&A to answer any questions that you may have. There will be limited spots available to make sure that this is an intimate setting and all my students get the attention that they need. So if you're interested, then go ahead and purchase you a ticket in the video description below. And if you purchase a ticket, but you're not able to make the live group coaching session, no problem. I will be recording the session and I'll provide you with a recording of it afterwards. And you can submit your questions to me beforehand and I'll make sure that they get answered during our group coaching session. My name is Cole Mize with ColeMizeStudios.com, where I strive to make you a better rapper now. And if you're trying to perfect your rap skills, make sure that you get yourself a free copy of my ebook, The #1 Fundamental to Rapping, also in the video description below. And subscribe to this channel for more straight to the point, no BS, how to rap video tutorials just like this one. And always remember, when it comes to rapping, there's no rules, there's only techniques. Peace. Hey man, you see that subscribe button right there? Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh, and don't forget the bell icon. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Hey, I know you see that like button, right? Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. And look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, today I'm gonna kill it, kill it.